I'm Carla Reeves, and this is Differently, a podcast where we explore the ins and outs of what becomes possible when we're willing to think, do, and show up differently to the moments of our everyday lives. For new listeners, and for those of you who may not know, I've been coaching ambitious leaders for over a decade. They're creative leaders who have experienced some degree of success in parts of their lives, but who typically feel stuck, maybe like they've lost their spark, or just feel like they're going through the motions, but not really living the life they know is possible. Our work together does a lot of things, but three really core things, which is to calm the mental noise, really equip you with tools to be more present, engaged in your work, your relationships, and your life overall, and to restore clarity and a sense of purpose that moves you into action. You can think of it like how we go to the gym to refine and strengthen our bodies. For my clients, our work together is a mental gym where we work together to keep their mind clear, strong, flexible, and equipped to move their dreams forward. Someone asked me recently why I use a journal when I coach. And I wanted to really share that with you. So why I coach with a journal really began with when I became a mom. I worked in corporate America for a number of years. Prior to that, I left corporate America to have my first son. And I'd gotten so absorbed in being a mom, I started feeling my own sanity slip away. And I would notice when I was out and about, I noticed a lot of other moms, and they honestly would look quite miserable, and it would ripple to the way that they parented their children. And I knew I didn't want that, but like I said, I felt my own sanity slipping. And at the same time, I felt God telling me to write. I had journaled off and on as a teenager, and but I hadn't done that in quite some time. And I listened, and I started writing every day. Just emptying kind of what was in my head. And I don't know how long it was, over a period of time. For some reason, I sat down on my bed and was kind of flipping through the pages of my journal and really was kind of floored by what had happened on those pages. My mission when I started was to figure out how to be a happy mom, because I felt like that was a gift I could give my kids. And when I sat down to flip through those pages, I was floored by what had actually happened in my journal. I had figured out how to be a happy mom, but I had peeled all these layers of self-acceptance, and I had tapped into my creativity and my spirituality and so many different things. And in that moment, I knew I'm here to teach people how to use writing and journaling as a tool to navigate their lives. And that's what I did. I created a company back then called Sanity Journals. I did that for a number of years with a small product line and leading small retreats where women could come and write and share. And over time, I did some speaking about that. A coaching company found me through an article that was written up and said, "Hey, you love journaling, and so do we." And I ended up partnering with that company, who happened to be a coaching company. And I went to the president one day and said, "I really want to grow this business, but I'm not sure what to do. Would you mentor me?" And she said, "I think you know what to do. I think you should go through our coaching program," and which I did. And the coaching was amazing, but I really fell in love with this idea and marriage of a coach and a journal to really help people change their lives. So the rest is history. Why I coach with a journal today is that, one, it changed my life, and I've witnessed it change other people's lives. It strengthens, deepens, and accelerates the coaching process. And it's a lifelong tool that my clients walk away with that they will always have long after coaching. Writing and journaling is at your fingertips 24/7 and literally costs nothing. So here's how it works inside of coaching. When you coach with me in my private coaching program, Elevate, I take you through a guided journaling process that is coupled with coaching calls where we go deeper. And that journey is designed to do a lot of things, but three kind of main things, as I mentioned, which is to calm the mental noise, equip you with tools to be more present and engaged in your work, relationships, and your life, and to help you restore clarity and that sense of purpose that moves you into action. The journaling supports the coaching in these ways. It calms your mind. And I see this again and again and again. You know, as people, we have so many thoughts in our head. And so often, maybe you can even relate to this, you find you're going through life, but you're really lost up in your head instead of being present and engaged in the moment that you're in. My coaching program has a proven methodology and a structure that we follow, but your life is what informs the journey and exactly what we work on. And so your writing helps to paint a picture of your current inner world, what it looks like, how it feels, and the impact it's having on you. The shared journaling process helps us to lay out the thinking that is hurting you, the thinking that is helping you, and the thoughts that are holding you back or moving you forward. And so you can think about it like similar to a doctor looking at your symptoms to determine what's going on with your body. I look to your thinking to find out what is getting in your way, and more importantly, what needs to happen in order to make a positive shift. So there's a quote that I love. We all carry a load. The heavy is in your head. Here's the thing. Thoughts are weighty. I remember when I used to lead those journaling retreats, I would see women come into the room and they would look like they had the weight of the world on their shoulders. And through the evening, they would write and share. And when they left the room, they literally physically looked different. And that's the power of our thinking and the weight that it can have in our lives. Journaling really helps you to separate from your thoughts. Old, outdated thoughts carry a ton of weight and can cause you to feel very trapped and feel very confined. After clients begin journaling and unpacking their thinking that they've been carrying around, sometimes for many, many years, they start to feel lighter. They start to stand taller, and people around them begin to notice. The other thing that happens inside of coaching with a journal is that your journal talks back to you in a good way. Imagine a journal that talks back to you like a really good friend, but a friend who really stands for your dreams and you showing up as your best self. When you journal with me inside of the Elevate coaching program, you aren't journaling alone. I comment on your journal. I will highlight things that may be blind spots to you that are likely getting in your way. I'll nudge you to say, hey, take a look at this and explore this a little bit deeper. I reflect things back to you. A lot of times for a client, their truth begins, especially after clearing a lot of the noise, their truth starts to show up in their journals. And I can see that really clearly and highlight it and reflect it back to them. A lot of times in, our thoughts especially thoughts we've been carrying around for many years, can feel like truth. But when you're working with me inside of coaching and journaling, I help you to challenge your thinking and to call out untruth in places that are bogging you down and tripping you up. Having my clients journal inside of the coaching really equips me to be the best coach that I can be for you. It provides exactly what we need to help you reshape the way you talk to yourself. We look at the writing together to understand your inner narrative and how it's shaping your life today, which informs the exact places where you can make simple yet profound changes. One of my favorite things about watching clients go through this process is how the relationship they have with themselves changes over time. So remember I told you about my own journaling process. During that time when I first started writing, I didn't like what I was writing. I didn't like how it sounded. I wanted it to sound more different, more brilliant. I wanted to be a better writer. All kinds of judgment and friction showed up on those early pages. And what happened over time is that friction started to fade away. And I'll never forget, but there was a day that I was writing, and it was as if I saw this girl dance across the page. I immediately thought, I want to know her. That was the truest part of myself. And it became my mission to get to know her more and more and more. And over time, she started to show up more often in my journal. And then she started to spill out into my everyday life. And this is exactly the process that I have the honor of witnessing my clients go through, is this return to the truest part of who they are. Journaling with or coaching with a journal, it amplifies and accelerates our work together because it keeps us connected in between coaching sessions. It keeps you, my clients, supported, growing, and reflecting all week long. So in between our sessions, you're out there, you're writing, you're reflecting, there's rigor, and it keeps us caught up so that when we get to the next coaching call, we don't have to spend that time getting caught up. We can just go deeper. It really helps to sustain the momentum and build momentum in between our calls. And it allows you to travel farther in a shorter period of time. And honestly, there's more, but I know you don't have all day. So have you ever considered working with a coach? Have you ever considered working with a coach and a journal? If you're really curious and you want to know more, I want to invite you to choose a time on my calendar and let's talk. Let's talk about what you're up to and whether coaching and working inside of journaling could support you in achieving your goals. I'm actually trying to spend some more time on LinkedIn, and I would love to connect with you there and learn more about you and your work. So I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn. If we're not connected on Instagram, let's connect there. I will put all those links in the show notes, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Differently. I hope it stirred your thinking, and I invite you to take one inspired action from something that stood out to you. If you love listening to this podcast, may I please ask you to leave a review in Apple Podcasts. These mean so much to me. I read every one. They help to grow the podcast, and honestly, on some days, they give me the fuel to keep going. If you want to hear more conversations like this, hit follow on your favorite podcast app and help me spread the word. If this episode can impact someone you know, please share it and pass it along. Remember, episodes drop weekly.